Nintendo. Donkey Kong is an arcade game released by Nintendo in 1981, an early example of the platform game genre. The gameplay focuses on maneuvering the main character across a series of platforms while dodging and jumping over obstacles. In the game, Mario, originally named Mr. Video and then Jumpman, must rescue a damsel in distress named Pauline, originally named Lady, from a giant ape named Donkey Kong. The hero and the ape later became two of Nintendo's most popular and recognizable characters. Donkey Kong is one of the most important titles from the golden age of video arcade games, and is one of the most popular arcade games of all time. The game was the latest in a series of efforts by Nintendo to break into the North American market. Hiroshi Yamauchi, Nintendo's president at the time, assigned the project to first-time video game designer named Shigeru Miyamoto. Drawing from a wide range of inspirations, including Popeye, Beauty and the Beast, and King Kong, Miyamoto developed the scenario and designed the game alongside Nintendo's chief engineer Gunpei Yokoi. The two men broke new ground by using graphics as a means of characterization, including cutscenes to advance the game's plot, and integrating multiple stages into the gameplay. Regardless of initial doubts by Nintendo's American staff, Donkey Kong succeeded commercially and critically in North America and Japan. Nintendo licensed the game to Coleco, who developed home console versions for numerous platforms. Other companies cloned Nintendo's hit and avoided royalties altogether. Miyamoto's characters appeared on cereal boxes, television cartoons, dozens of other places. A lawsuit brought on by Universal City Studios alleged Donkey Kong violated their trademark of King Kong. It ultimately failed. The success of Donkey Kong and Nintendo's victory in the courtroom helped to position the company for video game market dominance from its release in 1981 until the late 1990s. Okay, who doesn't know about Donkey Kong? It's a franchise that still exists to this day in some form or other. Like so many classic games, my first experience with Donkey Kong came on the Atari 2600. And again, with the Nintendo version, it's the same game, just slightly better graphics. Slightly better, I say, but in some would say considerably better. I do believe the Atari and the Nintendo both use the same microprocessor, the 6502, or some variant thereof. Also, a lot of Nintendo's early games had been available on systems prior to being released on Nintendo, especially the 2600. The only thing the Nintendo offered was better graphics and sound. And again, not that much better, so... Other than Super Mario Bros., there isn't very much which is setting this Nintendo apart from its predecessors. Yeah, the graphics are a bit better, the sound's a bit better, but the games are mostly the same, if not exactly. Nintendo had licensed out the rights to Coleco, I believed, and Coleco made a buttload of money with their licensing of Donkey Kong. And it was an okay game. I just wasn't into this type of game. I have never been a very big Donkey Kong fan, so for this review I wanted to give it a good playing and give it a chance. I had some issues with the control at the beginning. Mario would freeze once he climbed to the top of ladders. That is not a good thing. So I kind of got it to work a bit better, and if he did freeze, you have to hit the jump button and kind of be aware he might freeze going up a ladder, so just see what was coming. Yeah, I had a little bit of fun. It's a pretty good game, I guess, if you can get into it. If you want to try to get to the next level or the more you play it, the easier it gets, I think. Because you kind of know the patterns on each level, and you know the timing, and it's an okay game. I'm gonna give it a grade of good. It's not great in my opinion. I know in its place in video game history, it is great, but in my opinion, it's a good game. I was giving this a fair, but I gave it another chance, and it's a good game. Donkey Kong Jr., or as I call it, Donkey Kong 2, is a follow-up to the arcade smash hit Donkey Kong, which took America and Japan by storm and then was ported to the home video console market and went bananas and appeared on everything, lunchboxes and games and toys and cartoons, and I think Donkey Kong was like prime minister of like Japan for a short time. I don't know. I am not a huge Donkey Kong fan. Sort of like I was never a huge Super Mario fan. I admit the games were fun, but I never had any desire to get high scores or finish them or get to a certain level. I'd play them for a bit and have my fix and be done with them. Donkey Kong Jr. I enjoyed a bit more than the original. I don't know why. The game seems to just handle a bit better. It's pretty much the same game with a few slight changes. Nintendo released all their Donkey Kongs in one basket, sort of, in this second wave of Nintendo games. You got Donkey Kong 1, 2, 3, and Donkey Kong Math. Who cares? Donkey Kong Math. But I was going to give this game a fair, like I was going to give Donkey Kong a fair, until I played it a little bit more, and I'm like, no, there's more fun here. I just am overlooking it, or it's not my type of gameplay, or the game doesn't handle just the way I would like it to, or something. I find there's a lot of cheap deaths, like you die just falling a little bit too far, or... well, that was basically it. If you fall, you die, and I'm not used to that in video games. Your character should be able to fall and land and then jump back up to where he needs to be. Especially some of the times I died, the jump was not very far, the fall was not very far. I don't think I should have died. But that's the way the game is, and you have to play the game by the rules. I'm going to give Donkey Kong Jr., or as I call it, Donkey Kong 2, a good. It is definitely not, in my opinion, great. It's almost a fair game, but I can get into it. I can have fun with it. I feel like I should probably give this series more of a chance, and some of these games that I'm playing through quickly, I am going to maybe look at in a little more depth later on in a different series. Once I'm finished all 600 and some 700 Nintendo official release games, I might go back and look at some of the games that I was kind of on the fence about and give them a more in-depth playing and chance. Donkey Kong Jr. It's good. Donkey Kong 3. It's a trilogy. Monkeys gone bananas. I don't know. So, there's no Mario. There's some other little guy with like some sort of fly pesticide sprayer. And Donkey Kong is back and he's at the top, and there's some insects in a greenhouse or something. And yeah, this is just... I remember playing this a little bit more back in the day maybe than the first one. The second one, as I said in the previous video, is my favorite in the original trilogy, Donkey Kong Jr., and I gave that a review of good. With Donkey Kong 3, I don't know if it's a bad or a fair game. I just think it's a kind of... not for me, definitely, like most of the Donkey Kong original series, trilogy. So I'm gonna give it a fair, and that's about all I can say about this game. In the second wave of Nintendo game releases, as I'm calling them, Nintendo put all their Donkey Kongs in one basket, so to speak. They released their 3 Donkey Kong arcade classics all together at one time, plus a Donkey Kong Math, and I think it was a little bit too much. I think they should have spaced those out a little bit, but all the games, as I said, I think were available. Maybe not Donkey Kong Math, but who cares? The 3 main Donkey Kong games, I think, were all available on other systems previously, home systems, and I can kind of see where they were going with this, because not just with the Donkey Kongs, there's Mario Brothers and Popeye, and I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 other arcade classic games in their second wave of releases. And these were IPs, intellectual property, that Nintendo had and games that they had, and so yeah, why not release them? They were popular. These are better quality versions of them, so people have played them and bought them, but maybe they'll buy them again if they've bought our new Nintendo. They need to buy something. We have to release something. They're definitely not bad games if you're a Nintendo owner. I guess it makes sense for them to release... well, it does make sense for them to release them for the Nintendo, but altogether, it is what it is. in Nintendo's second wave of releases. And finally, we have Donkey Kong Math. This is a fun little educational game. No, not really. You use Donkey Kong Jr. to pick numbers and decide whether to multiply, divide, add, subtract, and it's a very boring math game. There isn't really any fun to it. I suppose maybe for the younger crowd back in the day, this might have been an okay game, but I'm gonna have to give this. I'll give it a fair. It's trying to be educational and it's trying to be fun. It's kind of succeeding a little bit, but I could do without this Donkey Kong Math. But Nintendo is thinking, if you have an educational game here and there, parents can't complain too much.